I look so serious and like down in that screenshot. Just saying. Anyway, here we are. We are live tonight, and as you can see, I've just gotten back here to to my to Nova Scotia to my movie library, and I thought it'd be a nice and just as I did. Hey, Javid, Vinegar Syndrome decided to drop the announcements for September, and as fun as the last couple of months have been, they haven't caught me quite in the same way that the Vinegar Syndrome normally does. But September, hey Mug, September is a different story. Now, I'm glad to be home with my better half. I am missing my family in Corner Brook, who were fantastic while I was there, and my dad. Luckily, well, I was lucky enough to have my dad come on a couple times, which was a lot of fun. Oh, the September package Mug, it looks cool. It's really good, and we're gonna talk about that. So, who here knows what the September package is? Because I'm gonna go through them. And I'm going to give you my thoughts, my predictions, really, on my thoughts on the films, what I know about each one, and what I think is going to be the highest one out of all the package. Oh, Javid, you're gonna be. I think if you're a horror fan, this is the month for you. This is definitely the month for you, especially if you like their different stuff. So, it's going to go because I put it in my pictures here. All right, so. I can see very well, but it's on my phone. This is the month. And basically what you got is... No, not Tam and T-Rex. You got Secta Sinistra, which I'm pretty sure is Bloody Sect. I actually got to go looking at that. I was actually speaking. When these announcements dropped, a good friend Brian from Just the Discs, hey JR, and Pure Cinema. If you're not checking out those podcasts, make sure you do. He contacted me, and my dad contacted me at the same time to get my thoughts on the September Vinegar Syndrome package. So I guess I'm kind of getting known for this. Beyond Evil is the second one. Excellent. Now Beyond Evil is John Saxon and Linda Day George, and it is the follow-up film for Freed, who did Graduation Day. Did you like Pets? I kind of want to know. Javid, I really want to know. Did you like the movie Pets? So, if you remember Graduation Day and Patch McKenzie, then he's got a bigger cast here with Beyond, and Beyond Evil is a different. It's not a slasher film, but it's kind of a fun one. Pets is awesome. Yes, right. And it has one of the coolest covers. Hey Logan, welcome, dude. Are you excited about this package? This is a really cool, unique package. It almost seems like this could have been an October package. It really seems like it could have been an October package. We got The Vineyard, which is, I guess it's the thing I'm least excited about. I'm glad it's coming out. It's a cool movie. Aerodrome, which is kind of the low budget sub label of Arrow, put it out. Like, how come you like second half? Put it out like a few years back, so maybe that's why, because it was accessible. So The Vineyard was probably the most accessible of all these films here. And last but not least is one that really surprised me, and I did not see this coming at all. You haven't heard any of these, Andy? Not even Vineyard? Is Pledge Night. Now, if you're a music fan, then Pledge Night is going to have kind of like a special kind of place for you, because it has Joey Belladonna. And if that name sounds familiar, it's kind of like ringing bells to you, that's because he's the lead singer of Anthrax. And he's in Pledge Night. That I do remember. Pledge Night is kind of like a slasher. Hey Trini. With some comedic aspects to it. And some meth, pretty much. So Mug has seen it, I'm guessing. Yeah, with if Animal House had death in it, I guess. Because there is death. Like Pledge Night is I'm pretty sure. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is pretty much a slasher film. As you guys can see, I've cleaned up a lot since I've been on my last video. When I'm traveling, I didn't get a chance to go to my barber, or do any shopping, or go get my hair cut or anything like that. So finally got that done. Uh, but yeah, so out of the four of them, I think that the biggest one, the biggest seller, kind of like the biggest, most interesting, most intriguing ones. Well, I think Pledge Night is going to sell a lot. It's got a great slipcover. It's got that slasher aspect to it that a lot of people that collect Vinegar Syndrome like. It's going to really get the horror part, and it's going to get like the people that are into the metal as well, because they're going to want to get that Anthrax connection. But I think that Bloody Sect, or as it's put here, Secta Sinistra, is going to be the top seller. It is a Spanish horror film. We all remember the last Spanish one they put up was The Corruption of Chris Miller, and that, like, people really loved that one. Hey, Rich, like really kind of really fell in love with that one. Yeah, I mean, like, this is a really good package. Basically, for me and for like a lot of YouTubers, the way that I see it, Indicator's amazing with box sets. If you look behind me, you see, I mean, I got there. Uh, for a lot of YouTubers that do like the October, like the 31 days of October, you're gonna love Blood Rage. This is perfect because this is the September package. So anything you get from this package here, it is prime for October viewing and reviews, because not a lot of people are reviewing a lot of these Vinegar Syndrome stuff or talking about them. So for me, like, a lot of these are prime candidates for an October, like 31 Days of Horror type of thing. Bloody Sect, I remember, I kind of remember that one. I think that's kind of like an Antichrist, like kind of like a Rosemary's Baby type thing. Yeah, the October package is usually going to be the big one. The October package, Javid, is going to have it's going to have like the box set, the mysterious box set that nobody knows what it is yet. But we're going to be getting that in the October package, along with some other stuff, which I'm not quite sure of yet. I think some have been kind of, I'm not sure if they've been announced or not, but I know for sure that there's usually some really good stuff in October. Well, they just announced the September one, so I don't think the October one's released for another couple of weeks. More VSA titles coming, exactly. We haven't seen another VSA title in a bit. No, with VSA titles, like they mentioned before, that's outside of the range of what Vinegar Syndrome normally does. So it's not a title that comes with like their monthly package or something like that. That's something that they have to do special, and much the way that you say you would get like you see regular Scream Factory and then see Nightbreed. It's kind of its own special little thing. So if, like, say if Scream Factory had like a monthly package, like things like Nightbreed and movies like that would probably not be within that. Wouldn't it be awesome if Scream Factory had a monthly package? It would cost a fortune, I'm guessing. But let me know, guys, which one you think. You can always ask me about Vinegar Syndrome. Or any other company, actually. And I want to know which one you guys are most excited about. What's exciting you about this package? What is it that you want to get? And what's it that you want to have for the October month? My top 3 Vinegar Syndrome titles. Incubus is one. And Incubus for sure. Then it's probably going to be, oh God. Let's go over to my Vinegar Syndrome stuff. That'd be a little easier. Make it a bit easier. Picked up So, Incubus for sure. Let's see. Probably, I'm trying to see if maybe that one. You know what? That's a really hard question. I'm trying to think in terms of like when A Woman's Torment. Yeah, A Woman's Torment and Incubus. Those two for sure. And then it's like then it's up in the air. Then it could be like it could be a Bloody New Year or a Splatter University, kind of something like that. Demon Wind's fantastic. So I can give you a top two with Woman's Torment and Incubus, but there's so many good ones. Tell you what, I'll do like a video where I do like the top 10 type of list. And Pets is in. That's the thing. There's so many. Vinegar Cinema is kind of the company for me when it comes to a lot of this stuff. They put out a lot of stuff that I like, and it's a lot of weird stuff that a lot of people don't normally go for. To be completely honest with you. Body Melt's fantastic. I don't have that one yet. Hey, Mark, welcome, dude. Yeah, that's been a while. Hey, did you guys hear about the Vinegar Syndrome package? I want to know. I want you guys to tell me. No, there's no Pets 2. Fugitive. Somebody's got a Fugitive Girls Love there. I actually was watching a bit of Fugitive Girls the other night. What's your favorite for this month? What is your favorite for September? We got The Vineyard. We have Bloody Sect. I'm going to call it that rather than Spanish title. We've got Pledge Night, and you've got what's it called again? Evil. Beyond Evil. Yeah, that's just like, a lot of movies do that, like especially back then. I remember there was a Judd Nelson movie called Making the Grade. And at the end of the film, right after, when the credits roll, it said, Pledge Night's your favorite? It said, watch for the further adventures of, in this movie, and it never came out. Vineyard. I'm actually surprised with the Vineyard one. All 4 monthly releases this month. It is a good month. It is a really good month. Let's hit it up here. I want to see the features. Let's see what we got. I did open up the Vinegar Syndrome website just to check this out. So let's just see what we're looking at here. Oh, wow. Private school. So basically, for Secta Sinistra, long overdue to join the ranks of the craziest offerings by Bruno Mattei and Joe D'Amato. And if that doesn't make you want to see it, I really don't know what could make you want to see it. Because whenever I hear the names Bruno Mattei and Joe D'Amato, that's an automatic watch for me. Spain's sleaziest gem. Wow, sleazier than D'Amato. With an audio commentary by Kat Ellinger, it's pretty much a given that I really want that one. And the Beyond Evil, we got John Saxon and Linda Day George. Again, like just 2,000 copies. It's looks like it's one of the Filipino horror ones that he did. Herbert Fried kind of doing a gothic inspired horror. Yes, right on. Somebody said likes Joe D'Amato. You're awesome. You rock. With a score by Pino Donaggio, who did Dressed to Kill, and many other films actually. So that is going to be awesome. Origins of Evil, brand new interview with Fried, and Evil in Paradise, a brand new video interview with the producer of the film. We also got The Vineyard, which has a really cool cover actually. 14 hours, 11 days, 11 nights. A lot of stuff in The Vineyard actually. Welcome to The Vineyard, a new interview with director, actor James Hong, producer Harry Muck. Zombies from San Jose, an interview with co-director, and a brand new interview with the cinematographer as well. So there's some decent stuff here, and let's go to the last one, Pledge Night, which is one I'm actually very intrigued by. And we have like a video interview with the director, Paul Zeller, Graduating to Horror video interview with writer-producer Joyce Snyder, Hazing from Hell, a video interview with actor Robert Lenteni, and The Bad Man video interview with actor Arthur Lindquist. So, some fun stuff. Yes, she did do Raw Talent. Okay. Just want to make sure. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get the monthly package for the first time. It's an intriguing package. It's a good one. I'm going to open up my YouTube now so I can actually see your comments. Because your comments are coming by pretty fast. And I know I'm missing some, and I do apologize for that. But I did want to... Oh my God, it looks so stern in this picture. I did want to make sure that I actually was able to bring out this and check them out. Recently picked the Island of the Living Dead and Zombies at the beginning. Oh, nice. Some Bruno Mattei goodness, Mark. I I got jail like woman's hell type one, by Bruno Mattei, which came out at the same time as All Know the Living Dead. I think Severin did like kind of an Intervision package when that one came out, kind of a Bruno Mattei type thing. There was like there's a couple of them, but I'm a huge Mattei fan. Getting all four. Hey, welcome, Ken. Looking forward to Bloody Sect. That's the one I think is going to be. If it doesn't take off right away, this is the one that's going to like kind of sneak in and kind of be the one that everybody wants. Just got standard distribution. Oh, nice. My dad actually just sold his copy last night. I actually got a message from him. He said sold it because where he got the he bought two copies of it, so he ended up selling it because he's going to be saving it for that awesome Criterion Godzilla set that's coming out there in November, I think. But I'm so you guys go from like asking lots of questions to getting kind of quiet. I want to see what everybody said. The Vineyards is the zombies ate my arms choice. Wow. Uh, have I seen Extra? I've seen Extra and Extra 2. I think I've seen the third one as well. First one was the best, like by far. I liked it. I thought it was really fun, but it's been a long time. Gates of Hell trilogy by Lucio Fulci. Nice stuff. I love Fulci. You guys know I love Fulci stuff. I got a ton of it over there, and I've like doubled and tripled over in some of his stuff. I gotta get the new Hellspot Cemetery when it comes out because I gotta have that. But right now, I'm like super excited about this here. I actually got something today. My better half actually surprised me. So if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm a Doctor Who fan. I'm Whovian, and I got this just before I left. The first series that Tom Baker did, or otherwise known, Norman J. Warren. Actually, no, probably it's really close because Roger Corman got as the director, Norman J. Warren, because it's really hard to compare them. Because when I think Roger Corman, I don't think a lot of his directorial work. I think more of his producing work. Because some of my favorite stuff by Corman isn't stuff that he. That's an excellent book that he directed, but stuff that he produced. Human Eyes, from the Deep is one of my favorites, and Prana, and he didn't direct either one of those films, but he's a fantastic producer. So you got to pump up against another producer. But as a director, I'll go with Norman J. Warren. Corman does, directed some cool stuff, but Warren wins it for me in directing. So I got this one, and as you guys know, I grabbed this one. This was the first one I grabbed. Actually, I got this one second. Kind of got them out of order. And when I got home this morning, my better half had got this for me. And I am super stoked. So I'm up to date, like here in North America so far, with all the Doctor Who stuff. And we were watching it all day, so lots and lots of Doctor Who watching. But since you guys don't ever talk about Doctor Who with me, shame on you. We will get back to the more horror centric stuff. Though I do feel this camera's kind of close right now. It's like a close tiger. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Toxic Avenger box set, the Toho Godzilla set, Hellraiser box. You picked up a lot, Mark. So I'm surprised that you go with the Toho Godzilla set. I guess for the later ones, right? Because with the new Criterion thing coming out, like my dad has a lot of the Godzilla stuff. Thanks, Andy. See, there you go. There's some quality, like Doctor Who love there. I'm hoping you got those three sets. Is there a Mary Bava set coming from? There is, Jason. Basically, it is a lot of the stuff it's all the stuff. It's basically a lot of the stuff that they already put out, and it's a fantastic. My daughter has that set. Did I get Endgame yet? Not yet. I watched it. I saw it in theater. It was that fantastic. But the Bava set is going to have a book, and it's going to intrigue people with the book. Arrow may be losing their rights to Bava, and this is their last hurrah to get like one last big. I'm not going to say cash grab because I want to think of it as more than that, but one last big hurrah and one last big tribute to Bava. So if you have not picked up the Arrow Bavas, this is a good way to get it. Ditto and Doctor Who, right on. The Doctor Who sets have been some of the best things, best presentations I've seen in a long time. You never seen any Bava? You're gonna want set. If you're, like Arrows could be region 2, so I'm not sure where you're at again. I can't remember what region you're in. But if you got a region 3 player, it's not gonna matter. I do think that this set is gonna be a big seller for Arrow, and a lot of people are gonna grab it. Like my favorite Bava film, I'm trying to think. I love a lot of his movies. Oh, then you're set, Javid. I like Black Sabbath is definitely up there. I love The Girl Who Knew Too Much. I think I like not my favorite, but underrated. As far as like most underrated Bava film, The Girl Who Knew Too Much is the most underrated. Black Sun is an amazing film. Kill Baby Kill I love. Actually, I got a kind of comical story. Is that my dad loves Bava, right? And it was early on in the days of VHS. And he rented, he was going to a friend's house. He rented Kill Baby Kill. And he put it on. There's a house full of people there. He really enjoyed it. Everybody else hated it. And he got in trouble for it. He wasn't allowed to bring Bava back to the house. They're very different. Godzilla and Doctor Who are way too different, but the same. Shock's definitely underrated. But I would say The Girl Who Knew Too Much is definitely his most underrated film. Nobody talks about it. I get Shock is, pretty much up there the same as well. I missed a couple of things there. Is Bava a bit like Argento? I mean a bit. Bava is Doctor Who, definitely. I do like Blake Seven, but come on. I got all the Blake Seven. Bava is a stylistic guy, but it's, both Bava and Argento are super stylistic. Bava uses color in a way that a painter would. He's very much but Argento does that too, but in a different way. Like when you watch something like Suspiria or Inferno. Bava actually worked on portions of Inferno, especially one specific portion. But Argento, I guess, I like to think like Bava was a stylistic director and he could like lend himself to a lot of different genres. Argento worked mostly and best in the horror genre. That was his thing. That was his key. But what Bava like did in like with different genres, Argento more than made up for in kind of like and some people are not going to like this, but topping some of the stuff that Bava had done. Bava made Blood and Black Lace, which was a fantastic giallo. Cameron Mitchell in it, one fuse of color, one fuse of shadows. But I don't think it's too hard of a thing to say, in that in that Argento topped it like over and over again. My favorite Doctor is Tom Baker. I grew up with Tom Baker, so he was kind of the one that that Bava and Fulci. Not really. I mean, Fulci is a different. I mean, like early Fulci, like a little bit, but Fulci is more of he's a good, aside from being a good horror director, he's a good workman director. He did a lot of stuff, like a lot of like Italian directors. He would go there and make a lot of different films. He made films like Conquest and stuff like that. Deep Red, for most people, Deep Red would be the seminal giallo, and it is like one of the tops. For me, it's Tenebrae. Deep Red is like where giallo like hits its zenith. I agree, but Tenebrae is just my favorite film. Yeah, Fulci did some good spaghetti westerns. Fulci was definitely, he was more maligned. Like Fulci, unfortunately, in his lifetime, he didn't really get to know until very late in his life, until shortly before he passed. that anybody appreciate his work. You have to understand that although we like Fulci and Argento and Bava and people like that, in Italy, where they're from, they are very much like looked down upon. It's the Renaissance directors and the the Fellinis that people talk about in Italy. They won't look at an Argento film or a Fulci film or a Bava film in the same regard that we here in North America will look at them and study them. They'll actually, maybe it's because it's closer to home, maybe it's a little bit of like of snobbery on the on the part of it, but they really don't look at it in the same light. So until Fulci came over to do like the Fangoria, like I think the Fangoria Horror Festival, got to see so many people like really appreciating and liking his work, and that's like I remember watching something, and I'm not sure if it's an interview or a documentary, and they talked about it. And it is so shocking as somebody that grew up like loving, like idolizing like Argento and Bava and Fulci and guys like that, and Martino, uh, that they weren't getting respect at all. And some of them, and they still really don't. Prowler and me, I see. I would wait on Prowler, and I'll tell you why, because I'm expecting a 4K restoration, dude, from Blue Underground. They've been putting out all their stuff. I actually picked up. Well, actually, well, I better have picked this up for me. So now, Logan, I have all three, and I have the rest pre-ordered. Uh, I am going to get the, and I'm not sure how much it is where you're at, but I checked on Amazon, on my Amazon, on Amazon CA, and I checked on Amazon.co.uk. And the Colin Baker Trial of a Time Lord is cheaper for me to buy uh, from the UK. And it has, the really cool, like, the big booklet and books and all that kind of cool stuff. And Trial of a Time Lord is a special one to me. I've got a strong liking for Colin Baker, and it goes back a long ways. But obviously, so Trial of a Time Lord is one that I wanted to have in that kind of that special. I've got Trial of a Time Lord, the box set, and I know Logan does as well. But there's no way I cannot get it. There's just I've seen the stuff that they've been putting on these. It's just incredible. I'm not sure if the Colin Baker years is going to be on the Trial of a Time Lord. If it's not, it should be, because I remember having the Colin Baker years on VHS back in the day, and that was a lot of fun. How many episodes are there in a Doctor Who? It depends, Javid, really. Now, Doctor Who, like this stuff that you're seeing right now, was a lot of stuff that you're seeing right now is like the 70s and 80s stuff. So Tom Baker, you get a lot of like the first one. It's like Hinchcliffe Holmes era. Then it goes into like I think Christopher Bedmed, and then you get into John Nathan Turner stuff with Peter Davison. With the first season, you're getting five serials. Definitely, and his are going to be fantastic. And when you listen to the Big Finish audios, then you're going to like really appreciate Colin Baker. Trust me. So there are 5 serials here. Oh, no, 5, right? Yeah. So Robot, I think, runs 4 episodes for that serial. Ark in Space runs 4, I think. Sunterran Experiment runs 2. The Genesis of the Daleks runs 6, and I think Revenge of the Cybermen is back to 4 again. So that's 20 something, 20 episodes. There we go. I cheated. I looked on here. And this is usually how people see. If you ever watch The Simpsons or any shows like that, they're really big. The people that did The Simpsons, especially originally, were really big Tom Baker Doctor Who fans. So you can easily find, his character showing up somewhere in The Simpsons, and in random episodes like Sci-Fi Convention or something like that. You'll see a little Tom Baker there. So you just keep an eye out for that. He does show up in The Simpsons. This is the first one, and the really good thing about the first one, and this is where I tell people to start. I love the Davros one's my favorite of those 3, because they did 3 in the classic series. They did Davros, and I think Omega, and the Master. And I think it was Jeffrey Beavers in the Master one. I'd have to like go back and check, but I think it was. And of course, he was the Master in I guess in Legopolis before Anthony Allen becomes the Master. Uh, but like, there's a ton of features. Like, so if you're a fan, this is really a good place to start. Uh, you got an hour-long conversation with Tom Baker on here. The Behind the Sofas are really fun. If you don't know what that is, basically, and it's hard to explain it and make it sound as good as it is. If I told you that you're going to watch a bunch of people, is this one? Well, is it region free? I don't think so. Because I know over in the UK, you guys had a limited edition set, and it sold it really fast, and it's going for extraordinarily like high prices. I have seen that. I've noticed that actually. But I'm pretty sure this is region A, and yeah, I think Logan would back that one up too. I think this is region A, though I don't see any region on it. I'm going to assume it's region A, but check online because I really don't know. Um, yeah, because they don't list it. I'm surprised they don't list it on here. I'm just going to check see if one of the other ones have a region listing on here. Like, I don't see a region listing on here at all. I would assume it's region A, but would be surprised if they didn't have a region on it, just because. But BBC you would think they'd be sticklers about it. So one of the really cool things about the Beyond the Sofa here, because they have like a bunch of people basically sitting on a sofa talking about the episode that they're watching, and it's way more interesting than you think. Trust me. Is that Elizabeth Sladen, the actress that played Sarah Jane Smith through Doctor Who, and later on she came in the new Doctor Who series, and eventually got her own show, the Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane Chronicles, or Sarah Jane Adventures. Sorry. She her daughter, who actually has a part in like in the Doctor Who audios as well. I think she plays Redfern. Um, Say, Sadie Miller, and she looks so much like her mom, is on here, and it's really cool to see her. And she's a gorgeous, gorgeous little girl. She's like, I think she's 34, uh, but she does a really good job. She's quieter than the other ones. Like, you got Hinchcliffe, and she's between Hinchcliffe and Tom Baker. Hinchcliffe, Philip Hinchcliffe, by the way, is the guy that produced the show. He is the showrunner, as you would call it nowadays. Uh, Again, there's updated, special effects which are optional. What really surprised me is that they did two new making ofs for this one for the Centauran Experiment and one for Revenge of the Cybermen. I'm going to guess that's probably because if anybody used to collect these back in the day, I used to collect these on VHS. Revenge of the Cybermen was one of the early ones, and so there wasn't a lot of features when they originally put it out. Same with Centauran Experiment. There was only a two-episode like one. So again, there's Jen Sedalic's TV movie versions on here, which only the last time that was shown was back in 1975. And the Tom Baker years were basically Tom Baker, sits down and they show clips from the show and he talks about it. That runs around, I think, almost 4 hours in length altogether, because it was a two-tape set. Um, and there's and any features that were on the original that should show up on there as well. So that's this place to start. That's the way to go with it. Um, Try not to bore you guys, but you guys are actually not asking me any other questions. So just putting that out there. Um, you can always ask. You can always ask other things, and I will answer them. It's a Russ Meyer box set. Yep, that is that. That is that infamous Russ Meyer box set, the famous one. That is no longer in print, and I actually bought it just before it went out of print, and I got it for like $20. So I'm super stoked about that one. After that, Russ Meyer's this box set, pretty much there was two versions of this box set. There was a lot of Doctor Who lost over the years, not just due to destructive storage of the film. Like, I would like to think it was like over something like that, but mostly back in the day that Doctor Who was being done. My dad is back in Newfoundland. I'm back in no, movie library in the background. I'm back here in Nova Scotia. I wish he was here. But back then, like nobody thought these were going to be shows that were going to be seen over again, or there was going to be VHS or DVD or Blu-ray or any of that stuff. So a lot of them got taped over. Uh, when they find one, usually what happened is early on, a lot of Doctor Who was sold to other countries, like over in Australia, in Abu Dhabi, like Morocco, a lot of different like Africa, like a lot of different places like bought bought Doctor Who to show. Now, not every one of them showed all of them. A lot of the ones that were shown were erased itself over there, or they were sent back to the BBC because there was some kind of licensing agreement where they had to send back the episodes afterwards. And if the BBC, if those episodes were unfortunately sent back to the BBC, most of those were destroyed. Now, back in the day, when it was only on VHS, a lot of people would that wanted the older episodes that were still, they were still around at the time, would see them in Australia. Would get them from Australia because the Australian Broadcasting Company had older episodes. Yeah, they are finding a lot of those in South America. Either they're there or they made their way there. Doctor Who was cheap television to buy. It's why you see remember when Fox did a lot of those Power Rangers stuff, and you just use the old footage and then they put the new Americanized footage in there, and then they did Kamen Rider and did all that type of stuff. It was cheap to buy, which made it really easy to do. Doctor Who again was one of those shows that back in the day was very cheap to buy and to put on TV. And where's only 22 minutes. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. Where's only ran around 22 to 28 minutes per episode. It really wasn't a long one to show. And there's some people, some places like PBS and stuff would play all four of them kind of back to back, and other ones would kind of omnibus it, where they would actually kind of cut out the ending credits all but right at the end of the show, and they'd show the whole thing kind of almost right in a row. So I've seen it both ways. I've seen it with where it's been episode after episode, and I've seen it where they've cut out the stuff. Do I like Shameless? I got a lot of Shameless actually in the background. If you look over there, you see those yellow discs? That's all Shameless stuff. Shameless tries to put out things as uncut as possible when they can. They are a UK-based company, and they do have to go with the UK censor board. So if there's anything that they can put out uncensored, Shameless will always do that. The one good thing about Shameless is if there is any censorship or any cuts that they've had to make in the film at all, they will let you know up front right away, and they're really, really good about it. Have you seen the House of Hitchcock collection? It looks amazing. Me, you, Logan, same way. I'm here in Canada, and that's how we had. We had I'm not sure which PBS you did, but I think we had Bangor, Maine. They're worth collecting, Jason. They really are. They're really inexpensive. It's a great way to, especially getting some Giallo and some Italian stuff. And they do put out some really nice features and stuff, and some really cool stuff. And they started to put out some Blu-rays as well. And the only way to get some stuff Four Flies and Grey Velvet, the only way to get that one right now. But when it comes to to Doctor Who, a lot of them got lost. It was mostly the first and second Doctor episodes that got lost, especially Patrick Troughton, the guy that was the second Doctor Who. There was actually a lot. People aren't aware of this, but almost we are now. But a lot of the third Doctor episodes were missing as well, in a way. They could find black and white negatives, but they couldn't always find the color episodes. The third Doctor, John Pertwee, was the first one to go into color, and for some reason, a lot of the color episodes went missing. But they were able to find black and white prints and actually colorize them. So that happens actually sometimes with John Pertwee's. Now, Tom Baker and up, not no really any not really any losses there. It's just really the first two that still have stuff gone. I always hope, and I think everybody does, Andy, that we're going to find more. Like eventually, like most people, like most Doctor Who fans, I'm always hoping that like we're going to find like that full serial with Hartnell, transforming, and not just the clip from the TV show. And that we're finally going to get like Marco Polo one of these days. Like somebody's going to come out and say, "Look, I found Marco Polo," because again, that's also lost. And a lot of Troughton stuff was lost too. And Troughton was brilliant as the Doctor. And I'm gonna skirt on a bit of like controversy and say Troughton may have been better, in my opinion, than Hartnell. Hartnell was great as the Doctor, and he was the first. But I think Troughton was a bit better in the role. I don't have them. My dad does. And my dad ordered all of them from Amazon UK. Uh, I missed part of the comment. I know they don't. They don't take the gift card. Um, but yeah, they're actually fairly inexpensive. I got to get some of them. They're gorgeous looking, and Scars is like I said before. Scars, get Scars, man, get Scars. I know it's coming out from Screen Factory, and wait, just wait and see the print. But the cover on the Studio Canal one looks better than the cover on Screen Factory. I'm actually really not a fan of the Screen Factory cover for Scars. I'm hoping it's got a better reversal, because it just doesn't do it for me, to be completely honest with you. Now, I think I mentioned on here before, that here on Amazon CA, Lust for a Vampire was down to $14, and it still is. So if you want to pick up the Mike Raven, like Lust for a Vampire one with Ralph Bates, in Canadian dollars, that's $14.97. Now, I will tell you that you will have a bit of a wait, because they did sell out, but they are honoring it. Oh yeah, I actually ordered from them like earlier on this week. Shipping's pretty reasonable. It's not as good as it used to be though. But it's still like, what I do is I look at the North American one, and I look at the UK one, and I do XE currency, and I just figure out which one is cheaper. The best way to do it is do up a mock order, because you go to the part where what address are you shipping to, all that stuff, just before you put it in. And it'll give you like the shipping thing, any type of like any other type of like tax or anything that they put on it. I pre-ordered the Prey, and I pre-ordered the Hills of Eyes 2, but I'm not sure if I'm keeping those pre-ordered or not. I'm iffy on them. I want them, but I don't know if I need them day one. And they come in September, and September is my better half's birthday month, and she wants a handbag for her birthday, like a Louis Vuitton. So that's gonna be taking a bit of cash, and so I think I'm gonna probably like just skip on those September releases, and see what comes out in October. I'm really excited about October. I want the Prey, and I want Hills of Ice 2, but I don't see them as, you guys can let me know what you think, as day one, I gotta grab this right away type of thing. Like from here on out, I'm won over with this. I will grab these day one. The Prey, it's kind of like a slasher film, bit of supernatural aspect to it, I think, if I remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I know Hills is a terrible movie. I want to get it I got like the first one, so as a completist, I want to get it like down the road. I want the Prey too, but no, it's not the Vinegar Syndrome Prey. It's a totally different film. It's a Norman J. Warren film. But the Prey is like kind of and the Prey is not a great film, but it's just one that hasn't been available for a long time. And sometimes we forget that in our when you're collecting, in your rush to grab the latest, shiniest thing. And trust me, I'm somebody that does this all the time. Yeah, it is from Arrow Javits. we sometimes grab things just because we haven't seen them or they have not been around for a long time. And a lot of times we find our new favorite film, which is fantastic. And other times we realize, oh, that's why that movie wasn't around for a long time. Um, if you get my drift. Will I be getting American Werewolf in London? Eventually. I don't think it's a. It looks really, really cool. It's a really sexy looking release. That's coming in October, right? Um, American Werewolf in London really needed it. Like I've got a Blu-ray of American Werewolf in London. It's okay, but I would not consider it like a stellar release. I think it's called the Full Moon Edition. Packaging's amazing, and there's some great features in there. That's Microwave Massacre. I can see, it's cheesy fun. I haven't seen the total Japanese vampire. I have them actually. Arrow put them out. They were heavily influenced by Hammer, like strongly. There's Vampire Doll, Evil Dracula, and Lake of Dracula are the three, if that's what you're talking about. Vampire Doll I think was the first one, but that's actually the tamest of the three. But it's really, if you love Hammer stuff, it's called the Bloodthirsty trilogy, and it was put out by Arrow, and it's one that I think is really flown under the radar of a lot of people. And I think we'll get an Uzu box? I don't think this year. I think we'll get a Kurosawa box set before we're going to get an Uzu box set. At least I hope so. I like Uzo, but I hope I pronounced that right. But I think Kurosawa deserves it more right now. Like we got our Bergman set, we're getting our Godzilla set. I really think Kurosawa has to be the next. I think hopefully they'll both come out. I think the success of the Bergman set we're going to see more, and they're going to be looking at the success of this Godzilla set to see exactly like which way they're going to go with their next set. They're really watching the metrics on this stuff. I'm pretty sure they are right now. But I feel like I missed something somebody said there. But yeah, if you stop buying those vinegar syrups, dude. Logan, you got to buy like what is it? Pledge Night. It's got Anthrax guy in it. Those great gothic vampire. Yes, if you don't have the Bloodthirsty trilogy, and at this point there's no excuse. It's actually gotten fairly inexpensive at times. I got it for really cheap actually. Uh, it has all three films. Are you guys familiar? Does everybody here have the Bloodthirsty trilogy from Arrow? Does anybody not have it? Like at this point, is there anybody that hasn't picked it up yet? Perfect. Mug, pick it up. Uh, in all seriousness, it is really, really good. Hold on. Gotta drink this. Where my vice is gonna go. Let me. It's got to be here somewhere. Oh, it's upstairs. I thought I lost it. Or I put it upstairs somewhere. I'm always bringing movies upstairs to watch. This is the Bloodthirsty trilogy. Vampire Doll, Lake of Dracula, which was the first one I actually saw, and Evil of Dracula. These are fantastic films. Comes in a really cool slip. Now I'll see if I can. There's a booklet with this one. Okay. So I'll let you see the inside. So often when people think of the vampire films, oh, they're not Hammer, but they're very Hammer-esque, Jeff. They're very much like Hammer films. When you think of like, especially like Asian, like vampire films, they think of like the different style, like the hopping vampire, where you put the thing on the, the paper on the forehead type thing. But no, this is very much done in the Gothic style of of Dracula, of Dracula. Very kind of cool, kind of creepy, very well done, very atmospheric, extremely, extremely good. I think if I'll be honest, like Vampire Doll is probably the slowest out of the three. Became a point. I don't know, man. That I haven't heard. But like all three of them are definitely worth a watch. But now, they're worth an own. This is an own. Like some places was, which one's this DVD talk? This is buy it, rent it, skip it, something like that. Or what's the? I think it's DVD talk, or maybe it's the Blu-ray.com. I do have the Ring trilogy. It is fantastic, and you should own it. They did a great job with that set. It has amazing features on it. Some people just picked up the first one with the 4K restoration, which is fantastic. There's some great features on the original, but Ring Zero, that video essay by Jasper Sharp, talking about the entire like basically J horror phenomenon, it's a must own, and it's something I've watched around 3 or 4 times now. I'm a huge fan of J horror. I'm gonna guess you mean the Ring, right? Yeah. I always called it Ringu until I watched the documentary, and the U was actually just added for us. It was always just called the Ring, but they wanted to make it more foreign sounding when they sent it over here. Like Tartan did it, like originally. Tartan, and did a lot of those like J horror stuff. Was there, put them on there, and then like down again, unfortunately. But yeah, so they just make the Ringu because there's the Ring, and of course there's Ring 2, Raison, which otherwise known as Spiral. I know it was just. Well, I guess it was a way to like kind of make it seem more foreign and make it seem. You would think that, especially now, maybe it's different now. Maybe then they really wanted to like, okay, this is foreign, this is different, this is unique. Nowadays, unfortunately, that may not work so well. They'd be like, they'd be remaking it and putting and making everybody speak English. They eventually did that with the Ring anyway. But they wanted to like, this is the foreign one, but we don't want to. I guess they didn't want to mix it up. They said, there's the Ring with Naomi Watts, and then there's Ringu. It's the Japanese one. But yeah, so so you got Raison and Spiral. Raison is also called Spiral, which always confuses me, because Spiral to me, when I think of the name Spiral, I think of Uzumaki. And if you have never read that, like definitely do, and watch it too. Like actually, Uzumaki is really, really good. It's a really great film, really strange, and I love it. It's by the guy that did Tomy, Ito. And then of course there's Ring Zero, which some people don't like. They think it's too weird, but I actually really like that. Ito's creepy. It's probably not. Actually, I like the original best. My opinion on that one is probably more unpopular, to be honest with you. The Ring was one of the more successful remakes that were ever made. Your brain is supposed to hurt after watching David Lynch, so that's always a good thing. See, a lot of people will prefer the remake of, but I do like the original. And I tell you one place where where I really think the original stands out over the remake, for me especially, is Juan, The Grudge. Uh, the original The Grudge of the original Juan is so good and so creepy, and The Grudge, unfortunately, it really isn't. Uh, it's still Juan still freaks me out, like, yeah, whenever I watch it. Uh, Dark Water, again. There's another one. You would think uh, that Dark Water would be one of those that would be a successful, easy transfer over. John the Curse. Oh yeah. But the problem is, Dark Water, and I love Jennifer Connelly. I mean, like, who doesn't love Jennifer Connelly? She is gorgeous. She is on the Google Doc list, like, reaching for the top. But Jennifer Connelly, but yeah, Dark Water's not good. I'm not gonna lie to you. The remake of Dark Water isn't good. It's really not good. It doesn't get. It just doesn't get it. It does. It's not creepy. I don't feel that it gets the original. The Ring, like, whether I like the old one or the new one, I can tell you right now, they really got like everything about the Ring. He understood it, and he made a fantastic remake. But Dark Water, not so much. The Grudge, again, not so much. I think it worked because it used a couple of the creepy sequences from the films. Now, I got to disagree with you on Pulse. I'm a huge Kristen Bell fan. And I found the original Pulse very creepy, very scary. But I think out of all of the ones that have come out, Pulse has been the least successful franchise. They did like 3 of them, and they get weirder every time. And not, I wish I could say in a good way, but in kind of a mystery science theater way. And that, that's just my opinion, though. For me, I think I got the Pulse movies over there, and I got them for that reason. Just because they're so weird. That I know one of these days it'll be fun to, oh, dude, it's going to be painful, and you're going to hate yourself a bit, but you might want to watch the other two because it's different. Like, if whatever you like about, forget whatever you like about the first one, because that is not going to be in the other two Pulse films. So, just a warning ahead of time. But it's so weird, you might like it for its weird, strange badness. I would definitely watch the Turkish remake. I love Turkish films. So, most scared you've ever been in the theater? For me, I'm trying to think, well, that's the most scared I've ever been in the theater. That's a good question, by the way, Logan. What is the most scared everybody's ever been in the theater? What movies, like, really scared you? I saw Deep Red in theater, and that really freaked me out. So that was definitely up there. I still am bothered by that scene with the dummy. The one that the guy who made E.T. made this dummy that comes in the sequence in Deep Red. It makes no sense in the movie at all, but scares hell. I still can't watch that scene. Like, every time I'm watching Deep Red, I turn my head when that sequence comes up. I know what's coming. I anticipate it, and I know what's coming up. Blair Witch. Can I be honest with you? I didn't like the Blair Witch when it first came out. I was one of those people that was not a fan of the original Blair Witch. I grew to like it over time, but I didn't at first. I didn't like it. I actually liked the sequel of Blair Witch better than Blair Witch when they first came out, because as iffy as the sequel was, the story, I got the story, and I could see the potential. Blair Witch, for me, you got to understand, Blair Witch 2 is super underrated. That's what I went to school. I went to school for business. I'm a public relations marketing guy. Blair Witch is like as studying great marketing. That's what I see it as. Unfortunately, you don't want to listen to the director's commentary on the new Blair Witch, do you? Where he just like kind of, well, it's not lie, he bitches all the time that not enough people watched it. Okay. The movie that scared me the most, and I've said this a few times actually, but it's not in theater. I didn't see it in theater, and it's not the scariest movie I've ever seen. But when I was young, I was out trick or treating, and I came home. I My parents had on TV, my mom and my stepdad at the time, and we sat down and started to watch. I think it was on ABC, Terror Train, and Terror Train was on ABC, and I got sent to bed because Terror Train was a slasher film, and I couldn't watch it because then my little sister would want to watch it, and that couldn't happen. But my bed was right next to the TV was literally up against the wall that was right next to my bed. So basically, they watched it with the sound turned up pretty high, and so I couldn't see what the hell was going on the screen, but I could hear like Jamie Lee Curtis's screams and everybody screaming and all this like weird stuff and the whistle of the train, and I had this like incredibly creepy movie in my head that didn't really exist. So the creepiest movies are the ones that you create for yourself, I think. And for me, Terror Train, I hadn't seen it, and was the most horrifying thing that I'd ever seen. In reality, like what movie scared me the most, I don't really get scared a lot when it comes to films. I wish. I find what The Strangers got under me a lot. The Strangers scared me because I get scared more by things that I know can happen. That's the thing with me. I don't get scared a lot. The Exorcist, freaky, yes. Did it scare me? Not really. Great film, well done, wonderful horror film. I get why it freaked people out, and I get the subliminal messages like face and demon and all that. But I get scared by things that can actually happen. Ills, all right, that freaked me out. When I watched, that's the thing, look, Logan, and I get like people not liking it, but that's the thing. It is too close. And after like I moved here, I I lived in an area way out. I didn't do a lot of videos back then. You guys know that, about 2 years ago, and I lived in there basically. It was off. Like if a stranger thing was going to happen, it was going to happen there. I will stand up for the ending of High Tension. So I hope everybody's seen High Tension here, because the most disturbing film I've ever seen is Martyrs. Like a Serbian film. That's a movie trying to be disturbing, and I always find when they do that, that fails. It seems like a cheap ploy, but the Martyrs was a significantly like actually disturbing film. It didn't have to try, and a movie that did freak me out and that did disturb me. It was a little French film by the name of Inside. It was the closest thing to a Halloween film without having Michael Myers in it. And basically, it's just a simple premise. Just a simple premise, and it's really freaky. See what the heads are to forget. Great holiday season one, actually. It's a great Christmas horror when you really think about it. A lot of people don't think about Inside when it comes to that. Irreversible's one jab it I can only watch once, because of the disturbing. Let you know there's a rape sequence in Irreversible that I couldn't see again. That I don't think I'd ever be able to watch again. There's just some movies that that are one watches for me, especially the way that it turns out. High Tension is one that I loved. High Tension, after it came out, it got a lot of hate for its ending because there's a twist in the ending. The killer is not who you assume the killer would be almost all throughout the film. There is a huge twist. Some people think and will say that there is no logic in High Tension, but there is, because we find out right at the beginning of the film, and this is the thing that people forget that always rag on high tension. We eventually find out that we're hearing the story of high tension from a very unstable narrative, and exactly and that's the thing. We're hearing that from that. The point of view is extremely important, and people go back and they'll always say this couldn't have happened. Like if this person was the killer, then how did this happen at the beginning of the film, and how did this happen? Because we're hearing the narrative of this film from that specific person, and that's a skewed narrative, and it's genius when you think about it. It is genius that they did that. Exactly, he did The Hills Have Eyes, and of course Piranha. Don't forget Piranha. I like that. I did. That kind of like period where they did like the French New Wave of horror was a really good period of films. We got Inside out of that. We got Mards out of that. You really think so? I mean, I think High Tension would have had it anyway. I mean, like when you think about Logan, like because I don't think that it's because the ending that people know High Tension really well. Normally, I would say that, but the fact that so many people were upset by that, they were invested. So the movie had them invested anyway. And the killer, the guy that initially plays the killer, just does incredible. But yeah, the ending definitely makes it like it makes it stand apart. And like it or hate it, it does make it stand apart. And if you understand like the working of the skewed narrative, and you guys do, then you like it. Yeah, I didn't see that film actually. I do as I get older. I'll be honest with you. Gore does not. It's not something I lean a lot towards. Like I'll watch gory films. I'm not like I know some people that I really don't, but it doesn't impress me. Gore doesn't impress me in the least. I don't think it ever really did. I mean, I could appreciate a good effect, like Tom Savini's work, Greg Nicotera's work, stuff like that. But when you get a movie that seems to be kind of like too self-reliant on the gore aspect of it, it I feel cheated. I feel like it goes a little cheap with that, and that's the thing. Like they say, if you can't scare them, you know, kind of kind of gross them out type of thing. And I've never been like. And that being said, there's people that love. Oh, have a great evening there, JR, and hopefully you have a good work night. But I've never been a person that's been like too obsessed with the gore aspect of it. I love like special effects and stuff like that. But I would never go out and watch a movie. When I was young, I would. When I was young, I would just like, oh, this is like a really gory movie. You got to see this. And I would go and I'd grab it, have my Gore Zone magazine, because everybody like collected Gore Zone back then. And you'd get like these articles. So usually like Chaz Ballin would do like an article talking about like the cuts in the film. And that's the thing. Gore isn't scary. It's just after a while it becomes like a little. I guess after you become desensitized to it, and that's never a good thing. You don't want to become desensitized to a horror film, or a genre, and then you just kind of go away from it. I think one of the most effective uses in modern cinema, and for some of the gore aspects of it, was Eli Roth when he did Hostel. Because the gore was there. It was definitely there. Like it was 110% there. But it was there. It needed to be there. Yeah, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was fairly bloodless. It had a bit, but most of it was left to the imagination. There's a reason people remember the clank, the shutting of that door, because in your mind you can picture what's going on behind that door, but you don't see it. I'm and this is an extremely unpopular opinion, especially online. I am not a fan of the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Uh, never really have been. I mean, the girls are cute in the film, but as for like getting Texas, and I love the cinematography, but aside from that, I think it gets Leatherface completely wrong. It messes up the aspect of family. Uh, Arlie Ermy was the only good part for me. Um, and this, I hate to say it, but I actually liked the beginning, even though I knew what's going to happen in the beginning, a bit better than that. But it really wasn't, and even that was kind of like, it was in its own like universe, I guess, that type of thing. But it wasn't. I didn't say this well done. I hate to say it, but I'll be honest with you. Uh, I don't like the guy that played Leatherface. I really don't like the disrespect that he had for Gunnar Hansen. That really bothered me. Uh, his message after Gunnar Hansen passed away was crappy. Uh, Even if he hadn't get along in yeah, that Andrew Brensky, who, by the way, who you probably saw originally, by the way, guys, in Batman Returns as Christopher Walken's son. Friday 13th and Elm Street remakes. I like the Friday 13th remake. I think that gets exactly Mark Harmon, man, NCIS. Um, I really like I really did like the Friday 13th remake. Some people don't like. Some people found that there was too much nudity in the Friday 13th remake, and I say to them, have you ever watched a Friday the 13th film? The Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I was actually talking to someone that actually really liked it. Um, Actually, on the just before I got in the, I just as I got in the boat actually, to get a ferry to come over here. But I really didn't. And the thing is that, and I've said this before, when you've got an Elm Street film, and you've got Freddy Krueger, and he can attack you in your dreams, can literally do anything. Like, look at Dream Warriors Part 3 for that, right? And you can see like how imaginative like the set pieces are and all that type of stuff. And then that happens as you go through it with the sequels. You get a lot of that. But the remake is so boring with what it does. And I've listened to the commentary on the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and I will be honest with you, those guys love Nightmare on Elm Street. They put in so many homages to it, and they really worked hard, and it really like pains me to not like it because and there's so many aspects of Nightmare on Elm Street remake that could like just one little push could have just pushed it over to that other side, but I really don't think it did. Man, I'm a hardcore. Well, actually, Logan originally was supposed to be, but they took that out at the last minute because of something that was going on at the time. But what I'm about to say is probably going to be something that nobody's going to agree with. It may have been a bit more interesting if they had gone with the concept that he was innocent and, the parents killing him was what pushed him over. Jack Earl Haley, I think I thought he did a good job in the film. I do think that he walked his way through a lot of the film, but there are moments of like just genius with some things that he does, and there's a couple lines that you can tell that he's really working on. He's really working with. I've got Split here. I don't remember it actually, but I know. Hey, Movie Archives. It's another one of those movies, and there's a couple of them, where Katie Cassidy is in it, and you're hoping to God, yeah, got the haircut, that she's the star of the film, and she's not. It happens again in When a Stranger Calls. If you've ever seen that remake, Camilla Bell is actually the star of that one. But Katie Cassidy comes on the screen, and she just she steals it, man. She steals the thanks. I hope that's a good thing. She steals the movie, and then she dies. She dies in When a Stranger Calls. She dies in Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, we talked earlier on about the Vinegar Syndrome release. So check the September releases, and right now we're talking about we're talking about remakes of that right now, and how there's some that I hate and there's some that I love. But yeah, I want to see them do another Elm Street. I really do, and because I think oh, great night, Logan. Thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate it. I want to see another Elm Street. I think they can do it. I think they can make a good one. And I just thought about one of the movies that disturbed me the most of all time. And I'm probably going to end on this. 'Cause, won't make it too long tonight. Uh, Eden Lake was a movie that disturbed me like crazy. Can Robert Englund play Freddy again? I think he can. I've met England, and he's a really nice guy, and he's really got like a physicality about him that was missing in the other film. Uh, I got to get that. That's an awesome game. I don't have the new one, the Red Dead Redemption game. My daughter has it, but I don't have it. But yeah, there's a certain he could. I don't know if he should. He's done his time as Freddy. Kevin Bacon would have made a great Freddy, because Kevin Bacon gets that. There's a certain thing to acting. Oh, I know. I've been told that you got to understand. And as a guy that, okay, I don't have a lot of hair. I'm a blonde, and I've always been been a blonde. When I was in school, after Nightmare on Elm Street came out, uh, around 3 or 4 of my friends had nightmares about me turning into Freddy Krueger and killing them. Not just 1 or 2 of my friends, like just 3 or 4 of my friends from different areas. Uh, Thanks. And I think mostly I could never figure out why. I really just think I got like abnormally long arms. And maybe that was the thing. I think my arms are a little long. Maybe they got the Freddy Krueger vibe out of that. But yeah, that's always bothered me. Anyway, with that weird, freaky story, I want to thank you all for coming in tonight. My favorite Elm Street, it goes back and forth. I think 3 was probably the most commercially successful film. I love it. I love part 7, where it doesn't even have Freddy in it, so it's a dream demon. But honestly, 2. I really like part 2. I know a lot of people hate part 2, and they think it. People will always say, "I hate part 2. It goes against the rules." Those rules weren't set up yet. So just saying. So when you hate to, why? I love 2. I mean, 2's got the girl that looks exactly like Meryl Streep. She does, man. She looks so. Meryl Streep is crazy. Like a really good-looking young Meryl Streep. Give you nightmares. Yeah, there's freaky parts about it, and there's an odd uniqueness to part 2. Some things freak me out, and it's the only time we really got. You don't often. There's usually the final girl in a lot of these films, and as a teen boy growing up, you don't usually get to see the final guy. And the Nightmare on Elm Street 2, you do. You get to see just a guy, actually live for a change. So that was different. That was kind of cool. The original is amazing. But it's just whenever somebody asks me what my favorite is, I always take the original out of the equation that's because that's going to be a bad answer, right? Like if anybody I said, "What's your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre?" Obviously the first one, but I'm not going to say that because I'm going to take the first one out of the equation and go to my next favorite. That's the way I always do it. I think it makes it more interesting that way. You guys can let me know what you think. But with that being said, I am Aaron. My voice is going. I was on a boat last night. I didn't get a lot of sleep, so tonight is going to be an early night for me. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the movie club. You guys rock. You guys are completely, totally awesome. I'm going to watch some Doctor Who before I go to bed. Andy, you're right. You're smart, and I will see you soon, and we'll have another interesting conversation. And remember, if you haven't, let me know down in the comments section down below. I do want to know if you're picking up a Vincent in September, which one, if you could only choose one, would you go with? I'm actually kind of curious about that. Have a great evening, and I'll see you soon.